Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the GSL CK, the 2026 GSL CK number 4 day 1 quarterfinals match. We just wrapped up with the first half of the broadcast with both Classic and Hero up against Lambo and Rainer. Now we're here with the second half of the broadcast. We're done with the ZVPs. Now we can jump into our TvPs, Maru versus ShoWTimE. Let's go. Let us go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the German Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing himself. It is ShoWTimE. Hold on. Bam. Beautiful. Is he playing with his eyes closed? The hell? Oh my god. As it looks like we have a bit of a pause here. Hopefully everything is okay. But more than happy to wait for our players to come back to us. Again, you know, hopefully nothing crazy, hopefully nothing too wild. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're good. We are good to go. Yo, shout out to the tuna. That's Ryung.
Game resumed.
The tuna Terran. Yeah, the Ryung drop. Happy the Ryung drop. It's spawning in the top right hand corner. We have the blue Terran player, the South Korean Terran representing on side. It is Maru. Bam. Let's go. Let us go as we are jumping into our fresh series, our fresh best of 5. Again, hopefully everything is okay. Of course, we are playing on the PTR, and as a result, servers are a little bit limited when it comes to what we can pick, and hopefully everything stays stable. So far, so good. As we jump into our fresh matchup. We're taking a break from the non-sub ZVPs and the Sky Toss. We're taking a break from all of that. For now, though, welcome one and all to Tourmaline. Tourmaline, as I mentioned previously, is a smaller map of the map pool, shorter resistance by ground. Aggression is heavily favored, and we are expecting aggression typically from Terran players in this matchup, especially from Maru. Maru, he's a hyper-aggressive player. We expect 2 base all-ins, pool the boys, more often than not in this matchup. It is something that I believe hasn't really been addressed in the PTR, which is a bit of a shame. But when it comes to the live version of the game, it is very common and very often that we do see Terran players try to end the game early and avoid the mid to late game, or if they get into that kind of game state, they want to get there in a better position by dealing critical damage early on, breaking an economy, breaking a base. Momentum is very, very important here in TvP, and again, Terran players are often fighting for that. Otherwise, Protoss players can snowball out of control, but that is usually in other kind of maps. Think of Winter Madness, think of even Taito Citadel. On a map like Tourmaline, I would say it's quite difficult for the Protoss player to really gain momentum, gain map control, and slow the game down and have that kind of a snowball effect. It's much more difficult just because aggression is more favored here. So we'll see. We typically do favor Terran players on maps like Tourmaline. Typically. Bearing in mind, of course, this is a best of 5, so a longer series ahead of us. And we'll see how things have changed in said PTR, more importantly. True. Now, of course, we are going to be opening up. Likewise, I haven't been seeing too much of ShoWTimE as of late. I know he's been a little bit more active in recent months, especially, you know, considering the Thermal 2-2 circuit, for example, 2-2 play. But ShoWTimE, unlike some of the other Protoss players out there, is a little bit less active when it comes to online open cups, as he doesn't compete, say, like in the open weeklies as often as someone like MaxPax, Classic, or Hero. So I do appreciate being able to embrace someone like ShoWTimE in this tournament when we can. Get to see more games, see more matches. For now, it is going to be the early tech lab into Marauder, so Marauder-based opener out of Maru. Bearing in mind, Maru did go for an economic start, single gas racks expand, and the hope here is that ShoWTimE tries to punish the greedier build that Maru has, and then Maru tries to punish ShoWTimE by opening up with Marauders to catch out the first gateway units. That is the hope, at least. Behind this is going to be Marauder opener into a 3-rack stim timing. So second and third racks, mass marine, mass stim, combat shields. It's going to be very strong timing on the way here for Maru, and we'll see if ShoWTimE can recognize what's going on. Scouting is going to be paramount for ShoWTimE. It's going to be all about that scouting, all about that reaction. And more importantly, the time to react. Does spot the Marauders, is now aware. And the Adepts will commit to the shade, bearing in mind that it is not uncommon to open up Marauder and then behind this go, say, 3cc 3 racks or go into a 1-1-1. Just because it is going to be a Marauder opener does not mean it has to be a 3 racks. So ShoWTimE is yet to confirm. But now Marauders, they commit. ShoWTimE is racing back to defend. And we will end up catching that Adept. Oh, barely not. It really does. One more volley. Adept goes down. Nice pickup. Very nice pickup here by Maru. Does catch the first Adept. Now going for the second. Ooh, second Adept goes down before getting within range of the battery here. Ay. Some rough losses for ShoWTimE. Bearing in mind that those Adepts that typically will provide scouting information to get across the map to shade past the army as well. And ShoWTimE is still playing blind. He's still blind. How many gateways do we have? 2. So 2 gate blink into a third. Very greedy build here by ShoWTimE. Going for a faster third base, staying on a lower gateway count. Likewise, did at least go for the robot before expanding, so it's a little bit safer in that respect, but still won't have much to work with. Is still hyperfixating on his third, whereas Maru's building up. And Maru, he's massing up. Stim is almost done. Combat shields just now began. And soon Maru, he will pull the trigger. And he's gonna catch over Stalker. Blink is not done. No, Blink isn't done. Massive pickup. He gets 1, he gets 2. Yeah, 1, 2 Stalkers going down. Blink not finishing up, but a little bit too late. Yeah, too late. As we stem in, we have the Archer's pylon. Does go for the battery instead. Battery will fall. Boys are being pulled. Desperation here by ShoWTimE. We'll lose another Stalker down to 2. Yeah, 2 Stalkers left. And Maru, he's so close to breaking ShoWTimE. He's close. He's still rallying. Yeah, still rallying across. Nice snipe out of ShoWTimE, but oh, does blink away. Yeah, blinks away in time, and down to 3 Stalkers. Does catch another Marauder. And ShoWTimE, he may be able to hold on here. Looks like he will clean this up. Whew. Yeah, he will clean this up at a cost. Does cost him 7 probes. But ShoWTimE will survive. And ShoWTimE gets away with the third. That's what's important here. Remember, ShoWTimE went for a greedier build. He had a lower gateway count. He had less warp-ins, less Stalkers. Oh, does get caught. Yeah, he face checks. Does face check, and with that 2 Stalkers go down. Heavy losses for ShoWTimE. Ay. He face checked the tall grass. No. Maru still overextends. We're gonna calm down. Calm down, Maru. Calm down. Does overextend a little bit too ambitious, diving on the Immortal. And we're getting a little bit messy here. A little bit messy. Maru has traded well, don't get me wrong, did kill a lot of workers, but remember, because of the faster third Nexus out of ShoWTimE, he can recover economically. He's recovering. Likewise, ShoWTimE is looking to stabilize, still not quite there yet. The base is on the way for the Colossus, but still in production. And Maru, he's not done. He's still sharking around for damage. He's still looking back. So of course, let's spot this. The battery is still not yet done. Does him in, does go for the dive, and he will get the Immortal. Massive pickup. The Immortal goes down. We do need extra Stalkers. Battery's now done, but the Stalkers are so low. Yeah, they're so low. 1, 2, 3 Stalkers go down. And with that, ShoWTimE barely doesn't have enough. It was close. It was so close, but barely not enough to defend. I still bleed out a couple of workers. Ooh, rough move command. Yeah, rough move command towards the end. And the biggest issue here is that ShoWTimE, technically he survives. That's true, but it costs him the army every time. Every single time. Like ShoWTimE, his army is not really disposable, not the same way that a Terran army is. Every defense is costing him Stalkers, costing him Immortals, costing him gas-intensive units. And Maru, he's not stopping. He just keeps rallying across the map, and over time, he's whittling away at the defenses of ShoWTimE. The defenses are getting weaker and weaker over time. Does have the Colossus, but again, we're lacking the Immortal from earlier. We're lacking the Stalker count as well. We're lacking the Sentry. It's still a very bare bones army. It's still very fragile, very vulnerable. And Maru, he just doesn't stop. Colossus will zone away. Maru claiming his third. Claiming his third expansion, rallying on the right hand side. Setting out a second army, as this time he has some sustain. This time he has medevacs. He can sustain himself. And he's so Marauder heavy. ShoWTimE is getting torn apart here. Gets distracted on the right. Army moves in from behind. We're diving on the Colossus. He dives in and he gets it. Yeah, massive pickup. Colossus goes down. Down to 1. Down to 1 Colossus. And again, Maru, he knows he's so close to breaking the defensive line here of ShoWTimE. He's close. Un poquito más. Stims in, dives in, and he will focus on the final Colossus. Ooh, barely goes down. Did cost Maru a lot of marauders in the process. Zealots, they do pop off. Aye. So a bit of a messier fight, but again, momentum is heavily in favor of Maru. We spoke about this earlier in the game, at the beginning. Maru, he gained that momentum. He's holding on to it the entire game from the beginning, from catching up those first couple of Stalkers. And we just keep rallying, Pappy. And ShoWTimE cannot defend. Not like this. Oof. As again, earlier on, it did feel like it was a very close hold. Like it felt like it was on a knife's edge. But again, barely not in favor of ShoWTimE. And with that, it just snowballs out of control. Every Zealot goes down. The Colossus. Ooh, down to one Stalker. Battery's out of energy. And with that, Maru, he does overwhelm. Takes down the final Stalker. GG gets called. And Maru, he will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Ah, look at that. He's so elated, Pappy. So elated. But Maru, he does take a lead in the series as we get into game number 2. Winding it back here, again, it was a very shaky early game from ShoWTimE. I was very impressed that he survived the initial wave, by the way. I'm referring to the initial 3x sim timing. Just considering that ShoWTimE was working with very incomplete information. And remember, ShoWTimE was being greedy. ShoWTimE went 2-gate blink into a third base, so he was going for a greedier build on Tourmaline as well. I should emphasize the fact that this map does favor aggression even more so than others, so reinforcements, they arrive across the map faster than any other map in the map pool except for 10,000 feet. That's the other one. Like 10,000 feet does have a shorter rush distance, but outside of that, Tourmaline, you don't get shorter than that. So again, aggression is even more favored, reinforcements arrive faster, the pressure is that much harder. So for ShoWTimE to survive was impressive, but he was, again, treading water more than anything. He was treading water. He wasn't really able to stabilize, not after the first couple of losses. And with that, GG. With that, GG well played. With that, Maru does claim a lead in the series as we lead into game number 2. Let's go. Gonna be loading into Winter Madness. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the red Terran player. The red Terran player himself, we have the South Korean Terran representing Onside. A lead in the series 1-0. It is Maru. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player. We have the German Protoss. Oh. Down in the series, we'll see who bounce back. It is ShoWTimE. So let us go. As looks like we have lost the feed to ShoWTimE's camera. If you recall, we made a little bit of a joke about it, but I believe ShoWTimE's camera was freezing periodically. That's why we made the joke that he was playing with his eyes closed. So I did notice that, so it might be causing some issues as ShoWTimE does open up with a cheese with a proxy. Let's go. As it does set up his gateway here out on the map. Welcome to Winter Madness. Winter Madness is a larger map of the map pool, longer rush distance by ground, and we typically do expect to see longer later games here, and I would typically favor Protoss coming into a map like this, getting into the mid game, getting into the late game, but no, instead ShoWTimE, he does subvert those expectations and is going for his own proxy instead on the macro map. A bold move here, as he has run down his gateway. Currently, Maru, he should be going for an economic opener, ranks expand, just like last game. And we'll see if ShoWTimE can punish. Let's go. Good old 2 FPS ShoWTimE camera. Yeah, as we mentioned, like ShoWTimE, his camera was freezing periodically, so it might have even been causing some connectivity issues. So we lost the feed. And let's go. Proxy cybercores. Okay. As we're recording out those zealots, cybercores on the way to be able to reinforce, to commit. Bearing in mind that Maru, he is not SCV scouted, it is not uncommon, especially on larger maps, for Terran players to just avoid the SCV scouts. So Maru has no idea. Not yet. And ShoWTimE confirms the economic opener. Does confirm. ShoWTimE does move in. With this, he'll ideally want to delay and force a cancel. Yep, there it is. That does force a cancellation. Can he break into the main, though? Can he break down that front door? Instant bunker here by Maru. SAV should be focused down. A bunker should be denied, at least for now. And more boys are being pulled. More boys are being pulled. And can we finish that bunker? So far, mass repairing. And hear that wall up. Reaper, ooh, does go down. Massive pickup. Takes down the Reaper and it cannot focus on the Marines. Meanwhile, that bunker's halfway done. Uh-oh. Yeah, bunker's halfway done, and it will finish. Yeah, the bunker will complete. With that bunker finishing, oh, we do still have one Marine, though. Down to one Marine. Not much DPS. Down to one. Nice focus firing out of ShoWTimE, but the bunker is now complete. So 2 Marines do fill it up, and with that, Maru holds. Or he does hold. He was forced to cancel, and he has to rebuild here in his main, but this was a very committed build here by ShoWTimE, proxying his cyber core as well. ShoWTimE does want to expand, but again, we'll lose a lot of tech when Maru breaks out. Oh, that's interesting, as Maru is going for a second racks, not a factory. Okay. In my mind, I would have assumed factory into Cyclone, as we're even going for the early eBay as well. Have my attention. Which is 3 vaxing, okay. Okay, why not? But que no los dos. We're going for an early stim timing here at Maru, 2 games in a row. In a different way, of course. As Maru is going to be delayed, but with that early, eBay, early +1. Very early upgrade here. This should be lined up with stim, with the eventual move out on 2 bases. So Maru thinking much further ahead here. There are those tech labs, as I mentioned. Again, stim is on the horizon. And we'll see if Maru can break out. Catching with the chat. It was not so close. I mean, I would say that it was close, as just to re-emphasize the previous game. I was talking about how ShoWTimE was barely holding on. Not trying to say that he was almost winning, but he was hanging in there. Treading water is the phrase that we used. Was treading water. Surviving, baby, surviving. As Maru was barely not killing ShoWTimE, but ShoWTimE was dying, if that's what you mean. But now though, Double Reaper gets across the map, does confirm that there is a base, there is an expansion, there is a follow-up, attempted follow-up at a ShoWTimE, but it's still on Maru to break out, and he is building up those Marauders. Now, the issue here is that if we had gone for the early factory into early Cyclone, it would have been an earlier breakout, right? Cyclone can bully these gateway units a lot easier here, but this does have like a bigger and faster power spike in terms of upgrades. True. So there's a bit of a trade-off here. Like an earlier factory could have allowed for an earlier expansion being taken, but the early tech here and the early upgrades and the setup here for Marauder production does allow for a very strong stim timing. So Maru's just thinking further ahead. Now, ShoWTimE at least is aware. He just saw the heavy Marauder count, so ShoWTimE, he knows what's coming his way. Despite that, oof, getting caught out. Reapers are coming from behind. We do get one of the Stalkers. Does get one. Now one Stalker goes down, gets a second Stalker, takes over the high ground, and will depower the gateway. Have we rebuilt the cyber core? Ooh, not yet. Just now on the way. Yeah, cyber core is just now beginning here. Will slow down ShoWTimE. How many gateways do we have? There's going to be 1 gateway at the natural, 2 gateways in the main, so a 3-gate setup. Mari's pushing. Ooh, almost getting one of the Marauders. Again, ideally, ShoWTimE wants to bait out a stim and focus on the Marauders ahead of time. And here come the boys. Yeah, the boys have been pulled. Maru going for the 2-base all-in. He's got the boys. He has +1. Stim and combat shields is almost complete as well. Very strong timing here for Maru. And he commits. It's all or nothing. Yeah, does Stim. Gets 1, gets 2 Zealots. No battery. Ooh, no defensive setup. GG gets called. And Maru, he will snowball out of control. He will take a 2-0 lead in the series. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, a cheeky build initially out of ShoWTimE. He was able to force a cancel. He canceled the CC. He delayed the economy. He forced a reaction out of Maru. He was able to snipe some Marines, of course, as well. But again, it was also that much more committed when it comes to going for the proxy cybercore alongside the gateway. And alas, he could not keep up with the breakout there of Maru. Again, Maru thinking further ahead, going for that much, much earlier stim timing and catching ShoWTimE out. Catching him out. Oh. Let's go. Let us go. But yeah, it was just a really brutal defensive setup there from ShoWTimE. Winding it back again, ShoWTimE didn't have any batteries on the high ground, of course. He had limited warp-ins. Because he lost the cybercore, he couldn't actually warp in any defensive stalkers throughout the later part of that game. He could only warp in zealots, so again, just a weaker setup there. He wasn't really set up to sustain that loss of losing that cybercore. If it was hidden and put off towards the side, then maybe he could get away with having it proxied and still maintaining himself after the fact, but again, got shut down, couldn't reinforce, it all just fell apart. GG well played. Not saying that if we had kept the cybercore alive and had extra warp-ins, that would have meant a defense out of ShoWTimE, but would have been a stronger defense nonetheless, and maybe there would have been a world where he could have held on, pulled the boys, and made a stand. GG well played. With that, we're going to be loading into game 2, going to be loading into White Rabbit. Let's go. Once again, a bit of a larger map in the map pool. There's a lot to get into in regards to this map. Let's go. Let us go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner. Bottom left-hand corner here of White Rabbits, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran leading the series 2-0. Representing on side, it is Maru. God damn it. Hold on. There we go. There we go. Very excited. And spawning in the right-hand corner, we have the German Protoss player. We have the red Protoss down in the series. Can he bounce back and make a series out of this? The pressure is on. It is ShoWTimE. Oh, we're locked in, Pappy. But again, having some internet issues. See here. Moving at one frame every 30 seconds ish. Let's go. Let us go as we are settling into game number 3 here. Welcome to White Rabbits. White Rabbits is, again, a bit of a larger map, longer rush distance by ground. But what I will say is that the bases are very spread out. They're very, very spread out here in regards to the natural and the third and the fourth base as well. As a result, getting into a longer game, it can be quite difficult to maintain a higher base count. But I'll be honest, we do not expect a long game. Right, so far we've had some very, very short games here. Game 1, we had Maru commit here with the 3x stim timing on Tourmaline. Game 2, we saw ShoWTimE pop off with the initial proxy gateway and then punished by the 2-base all-in from Maru. Game 3, we're still expecting hyper-aggressive play here from especially Maru. Expecting aggression, we're expecting all-ins. And we'll see how ShoWTimE will approach. So far, going for his own gate expand. So gate expand into cybercore, standard openers. Likewise, Maru once again going racks expand as well off of a single gas geyser. Every game so far has been an economic start out of Maru. Has been that economic start. Is this full? Isn't an all-in? He knows that he'll get the very least his investment back, crippling damage, if not the game. Oh, well, that's kind of what an all-in is. Like, when you go for an all-in, you do need to do crippling damage. Otherwise, you fall behind because you pull all the boys because you lose your own economy as a result of that. If you've seen those kind of games, especially for Maru as well, the reason why you want to keep making workers is because, hey, you can get ready for a second boy pool and a second wave. We've seen that many a time from players like Maru, from some of the other top Terrans as well, where they just keep sending it, and just over time just hammer down the Protoss, assuming that the first time they're able to do some at least equalizing damage. But once again, we're seeing another Rex into a third Rex into a 3 Rex. So 3 Rex stim here from Maru. We've gone here every single game. 3 Rex stim. Hallucination does confirm. This time, unlike some of the previous games, ShoWTimE is aware of the build of choice much earlier than in game 1 and game 2. Once again, we have the early eBay, early +1, lined up with stim and combat shields. But again, compared to all the other games, ShoWTimE, he has a much more leeway here. He has much more of a heads up. As from here, we're going for the robo on 2 bases. We'll see if we go into a higher gateway count as well before we expand. It's what we're expecting out of ShoWTimE. As once again, we're rechecking. ShoWTimE trying to confirm what's going on after the initial scouts. And we can see that Maru's taking up. Unlike the previous games, we have a factory and leading into a starport and medevac play as well. It would make sense here for Maru to maybe go for later timing just because he knows that he has been scouted much earlier this game. So may just wait for his medevacs instead. Ooh, meanwhile, ShoWTimE staying on 2 bases and taking up into a robo. So again, you can see a very strong reaction out of ShoWTimE. No third expansion yet. Staying on 2 bases, building up into Colossus. Which should be ideal against a bio-heavy composition, if we can get there. So Colossus production on the horizon. Third TC on the way for Maru. Is expanding. So again, this is the least committed variation of 3 Max that we've seen so far in this series. And I would imagine a big reason for this is because of the hallucination scout earlier. Maru's like, oh, okay, you saw me, so time to tech up. I know that you're going to be ready for me. So let's adapt. Let's transition. So from here we're building up. This is where the longer that ShoWTimE is stuck on 2 bases, the worse it's going to be, as we have extra gateways on the way as well. ShoWTimE is not aware of the third CC, setting up a proxy pylon across the map, and the question becomes, does ShoWTimE even expand? That's another gateway. That's 2 more gateways being thrown down, no third in sight. He may just commit himself on 2 bases. So eyes are on ShoWTimE to see when and if he does expand. Maru's being somewhat active. Does check with the Marine, does spot the army. As aware of the stalker positioning, the observer does spot the main army of Maru. ShoWTimE is aware. Setting up proxy pylons to harass. But I still don't see a third. And likewise, remember, ShoWTimE is still unaware of the third CC of Maru. And we throw down another gate. Yeah, we... How many is that? Getting up to 6. Getting up to 6 gateways. Maru moving out with his mine drop. This will ideally do some damage, and more importantly, just scouts. Confirms the Bay. Confirms the Colossus. Won't find too much damage here. Catching a Stalker. Yeah, Stalker, a probe. Pulls away. Checks on left-hand side. Confirms no expansion, no third. Now Maru knows. He sees everything. Confirms the 2 base play. Confirms no third, and Maru just has to defend. Just back off, survive. More mind drop play out of Maru. And ShoWTimE is waiting for his third Colossus. Getting up to 3. Colossus gets spotted. Mind drop is intercepted, and it is going to go down. Massive pickup. Very nice catch. That's 4 Widow Mines. Yeah, 4 mines going down, and it's all or nothing. I believe there's no warp prism with this army, but there are those pylons. We can still reinforce across the map. Remember, you don't need a gateway anymore. You don't need a gateway. You can just reinforce. We have 6 warp gates. Here come the warp ins. No supply. Oh, that's a brutal time to be supply blocked. Pylons not being thrown down. Now is not the time. We need warp ins. ShoWTimE, por favor. 2 base all in. Yeah, 2 base all in. The boys are being pulled. Maru, he can afford to lose them. Just has to survive. So far, Colossus, they do swipe away at the army. So far, so good. 9 SCV kills. 3 damage in the bunker. Tank has arrived. Now we commit. And now he does commit in. Oh, nice target finding on the Stalkers. Zealous, they just melt. But the force fields, they stop the army from engaging. And Maru's choked up. Maru's choked up with the natural. We have more Zealot Warpins. But the Colossi are low. He's got to be careful. Yeah, Tank does barely survive. And nice pullback there by Maru. Yeah, pulls back. Second tank has arrived. Now we have some Vikings. The Vikings are amassing. 2 more on the way. And there isn't really that much anti-air. Okay, there we go. There isn't that much anti-air. Warping in more Stalkers. And again, Mars is taking some heavy losses here. 26 SCV kills. Funnily enough, still has a greater economy. That's crazy. It shows how far ahead he was when it comes to the workers. And Colossi are going to be zoned away. Tanks, they shell away at the army. Immortals are exposed, and Maru, he breaks out. He breaks out, takes out every Immortal. At the Immortal, they go down. Colossus as well. Massive pickups down to 1, down to 0. 0 left, and with that, Maru snowballs out of control, crushes the main army. GG gets called as the all-in fails, and Maru, he will take a 3-0 lead, or he will claim the series 3-0. GG. Whew. The emotion is crazy. GG. GG, well played. As Maru does claim the series against ShoWTimE, he forced himself to base all in. I'm not too certain if that was the initial plan, just because, again, remember, there was no follow-up scouts. Like, ShoWTimE was not aware that Maru was getting a 3rd CC up and running, was getting ready. Initially, ShoWTimE was just getting ready to receive a 3-rax timing that never arrived. Then he forced himself into an all-in. Meanwhile, Maru, shout to Maru for scouting and confirming. Remember, he was able to confirm the lack of expansions, and also with his Widowmine drops, and confirm how committed ShoWTimE was. So Maru, he set up back at home. Very patient play as well. Very, very patient. We saw Maru just pull further back, bled out a lot of SCVs, but he could afford to. And he could afford to lose the workers, had plenty of SCVs to work with. Was 26 throughout the course of the defense, and eventually overwhelmed. Built up his Vikings, preserved his tanks. GG. GG, well played. And with that, Maru, he will claim the series, and we have 1 series left here tonight. It's going to be a TvZ between Clem and Solar. Let's catch up. Let us catch up with the brackets. Let's catch up with our upcoming matches. Okay, from the top. So Maru takes down ShoWTimE 3-0. Maru's going to be up against Rainer in the semifinals. They're going to be facing off tomorrow. Bear that in mind. This is a 2-day event. Meanwhile, scrolling down, we have Lambo. Lambo took down Hero, and Lambo's waiting for the winner of Solar and Clem. We still have more matches. We have 1 more series ahead of us here, and of course, tomorrow we will be wrapping up the semis and crowning our champion. We'll be there. We'll be there tomorrow. Also, before we cut to a break, a big shout to GSL. And if you want to help support GSL, if you want to help make GSL Season 3 a reality, of course, Patreon is the place to be. Actually, Patreon is the only reason why we have this tournament. GSL CK is funded by the people, for the people as well. Because the Patreon has had as much support as it does, whether it's the Patreon and the Soup platform as well, does mean that we can host these more like invitational, like experimental tournaments on a regular basis. The GSL CK. So this is the fourth edition, the GSL Champions Korea. And again, the GSL CK should be occurring twice a month, just because of the stretch goal that we reached. We reached the stretch goal for twice a month for GSL CK. And again, there's another goal as well for a 3rd season of GSL proper. But we still need to get there. So again, if you want to support the GSL, if you want to support the Korean scene and just StarCraft as a whole, you can do so via that Patreon. I also emphasize StarCraft as a whole because if you remember the GSL, the most recent season, they actually they unrestricted the tournaments. They opened it up for foreigners. Clem was playing. He was playing in GSL in Season 2 this year. And we had some other foreigner players also competing in the qualifiers as well, like Christiana, like Young Yakov, and I think Geralt as well, and a couple of others. So again, they did decide to open it up that much more, and as a result, we got to experience some Clem action in GSL. True. Good to see it. For now, though, we're going to be coming to a break, and when we come back, we'll have a next series. We'll have Clem versus Solar. We'll see you soon. See you soon.